Well, due to a technology mishap, I'm upside down, but that's all right. I, this is a good time. Good time to, I thought of it and I didn't want to forget it. I thought it and I didn't want to forgot it. So basically, that's annoying. There we go. Basically, I'm mad because I, it's so weird to talk about. I don't like talking about it, honestly. Um, Can you see that all right? There's a peppermint on the ground. Items found on the ground. Peppermint and penny. Funny. That's funny. Maybe there's some symbolism there. Or maybe not. So yeah. Basically, you have to envision the best case scenario. You have to you can't just be negative all the time. You can't say people aren't good. You can't just be mad. That's what that's what a woman would do. That's not what I do. That's not what a man should do. A man isn't. A man's not mad because he doesn't. Because of a general feeling of being out of place. General feeling that something's not right. That's for women. That's not what I should do. I should know exactly. I should be clear and precise about the nature of my dissatisfaction, and set up conditions for my eventual satisfaction. Because you don't want to be the one who says, I don't like it, change it, and then it gets changed, and then you say, I still don't like it, change it, and then it gets changed again, and I still don't like it, change it. Because that's what women do. That's not what I do. You change in a pre-planned direction. Now, being that as a hetero man, a het, as they say, het. They say het. They don't say hetero. They say het. It's like the Russian poster. It says about not drinking. Apparently, het means no. And there's a guy holds up his hand like this. He says het. And he's saying no to a drink. Drink is like right here. And he says het. It's like that, but that's me, and it's in English, and it's an abbreviation for hetero. And that's me. Being that I'm a man, technically. No, it's like they say, the male to male transgender. It's like that. I have dysphoria in that I'm not manly enough. Being that I'm a het, most of my attention goes, here. This is the first place I think of. I say, I don't like the women around me. I say, they're not what I like. So the process is to this is the first thing you think of, and then this is the second thing you think of upon realizing that since this is what you want, both of these things are contingent on those things. That is to say, even, like, generally speaking, the girl that you want, you're not good enough for, generally speaking. The girl you want, because it's not just that you want the girl, it's you want a quality of experience with this girl. And being that those experiences will also involve yourself, you have to consider what version of yourself will be present in such a situation. And that necessitates the consideration of the self. What do you call it? Introspection. There you go. And I guess that's extrospection. So now that you've seen these labels, I'm going to erase them because they're embarrassing. Someone in the hall might see. So probably the best way of going about this is to imagine this first. Imagine this, and then see what sort of girl and what sort of self are necessary conditions. So like, but it's also more direct to just start, doing this. And for the purposes of this discussion, it would be useful to limit the contents of this category to things that would pertain to the IF, or you might say the IR. So we'll say see if we can make this a little prettier. I was reading this thread by Zero HP Lovecraft on Twitter. And he said one of the things he really finds truly horrifying is reality's just absolute, utter willingness to absolute readiness. Like it has a longing. It has a desire to bend to the will of people. It wants to be shaped. It wants to be basically So this makes me think that one of the qualities of the IG is that she herself has an IS. And perhaps an IM. Is there a version of a G that you'd like who doesn't have an IS? How about one who has it, understands the need for an IS, but is resentful that she has to have one? And instead would prefer, instead of having to make up her own mind about what's good and what's not good, because in the end it doesn't matter. She understands the need for an IS and has a perfectly functioning one, but is willing to discard it when the time is right. Now, why would a G have an IS? All right, so I'm gonna erase this, and this is going to be the same thing as what I'm going to write. Now, lots of people can have an IS. I mean, lots of people can have a version of themselves that they wish they could be. But that's not what I mean by have an IS. The IS, I want to use the phrase has an IS to particularly refer to people who the IS includes the motivation and the action to work toward the image. So if I have an IS, that's like saying I have a habit of improving myself. I have a if you have an IS, that's like saying you have an addiction. Like an addiction isn't just something. It's not characterized by a feeling. It's characterized by repeated action. If you have an IS, that's like having an, yeah, basically. Now, why would a girl need an IS? What purpose? What could possibly motivate a G to mold herself into any particular image? I don't know. I might have to ask them. So what is an IS then? Excuse me. Can you read that? Wow. That didn't work. There you go. There you go. There's probably more to it, but a good characterization of IS. I don't know. I'm satisfied with it. IS. What else is the IS? What else does what does having an IS imply? You have an IS. I have an image of myself that I'm working toward making reality. Now, of course, it's not going to be a 100% complete image. That is to say, you can never, you can't achieve perfection because perfection doesn't exist. But what can you do? Like, for example, it's like it's like in the Odyssey where the guy set up the big poles. They had like little needle heads on the top or something. I don't exactly remember. It was just 10 of them in a row. And these were very small. 10. I counted 10. There you go. 10. They were very small. They were probably about that big, that size, sort of that shape, sort of. Not very good with my hand. But that shape. And his challenge was to shoot an arrow, and it had to go through all 10 of the holes. I'm going to look at that. How about Odysseus arrow shooting? Through the axes, the axe heads. Yes. There you go.
Is it a contest for me?
That's what it was. I remember. I don't remember. That's what it is. The axe heads. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the arrow through the axe heads, and he shot it through 12 axe heads. And that was, he passed the test. There's no, perfect arrow shot. But there were all of these. It had to go through the first one, through the second one. It had to go through all of them. And then there was a satisfactory arrow shot. So the IS, there's no perfect IS, but there's a satisfactory IS. That is to say, a satisfactory set of conditions upon which a person is self-actualized, basically. In the movie I just pulled up, there was a pole at the end, a pole. And the arrow stuck to the pole. And when you saw that arrow on that pole, you could tell there was no doubting that the arrow had gone through all of the axe heads. And that's like feeling satisfied with yourself. You either feel satisfied with yourself or you don't. And if you feel satisfied with yourself, you'll know And it'll be just as clear to you as the satisfaction you feel when you see that satisfaction and the just the certainty that you feel, the same certainty that you see when the arrow is in that pole, just wobbling. It's the same. Probably. I don't know. I've never been there. You know, you could. This probably just goes through forever. All right, let's put some more stuff on here. You know, it's like that episode of Trick and Shorty. Where the aliens had a machine that they used for couples therapy. They put the machine on someone's head, and it generates an alien that is the manifestation of the person's opinion of the other person. But then what they did was they put the brain scanner machine replicator onto the copy. and then the copy made another self-image, and like it was supposed to be the copy of the ideal copy that the ideal contained, and it's like that. And you just keep going down the line. Like, what is this girl supposed to see herself as, and what is she supposed to? What would it be good according to me? What would it be good according to me for her to idealize as good qualities in a man? I don't know. But I like this structure. And I like IS. I think we did all right.